Super excited to introduce to you today a very special guest. He is actually a really good friend of our friend Mariah. And I've learned from Mariah about this incredible resume that Christopher has. But you know, what I really love about Christopher is his gentle soul, how organic he really is, and how sweet he is. When I speak to him last week, I think it was a week ago, he was cooking a great meal, and as a matter of fact, preparing his meal, and it sounded so delicious. So I can't wait to actually share that with you, what he was cooking. We're going to talk about diet today. We're going to talk about being a healthy stylist, a successful stylist, and a wealthy stylist, and a wealthy entrepreneur. We're going to talk all about that. But him himself is an educator for Lanza. He has got such an amazing repertoire of successes. He has worked as an educator on so many platforms. He actually has been, you know, working at the Sunday festival, film festivals. He's got TV production, fashion shows. He's even performed in the Oscars, which I can't wait to dig into it. But what most unique to him is that he really focuses on a very specific niche, something that he feels so close-hearted to, that makes him so much more diverse, if I can say that. So tune in. Welcome, Chris, to our show.
Hey,
Hey,
how are
Chris.
you?
Good. How are you? I hope you like my introduction and I didn't screw up anything,
You're
Christopher.
perfect. I'm just chill.
I know. I love that about you. I love that about you. So, welcome everybody. Super excited to have you here because we're going to talk about so much stuff. Now, just about 10 minutes ago, we talked about meal prep. Meal prep. Okay.
Yes, meal
Okay.
prepping.
Let's talk about meal prep. So what's going on? Is it a New Year resolution? Is it about being healthier? What's the deal?
I think this year just has taught me so much about everything about patience, um, self-care. I, with everything with COVID and, people are finding these underlying issues. And I was like, dang it, do I take enough time to take care of Chris? I do so much behind the chair, but what am I doing to fuel myself? So I started working out with a trainer this year. I
Wow.
was like, let me get back to that high school weight. Not that I'm going to get back to that high school weight, but I'll try to. It'll be real cute not to think about it. And I just,
Wait a second. When was that? Like 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
you're hired. my,
Thank you.
my facialist would say differently, probably, but yes, I will take that. No, I'm 35 this year. It's crazy to think that I'm 35. And I'm always like, I just told my mom this morning, I'm like, sometimes I want to cry when I hear myself say 35. And she's like, you act like that's old. And I'm like, for me, because there's so much more I want to do still in life. And she's like, you have the rest of your life. And I'm like, but it's not enough time. Like, I think, it's crazy. Like, I've thought about so much this year, and time is something that's important also to all of us, to really enjoy the moments we do have, and meal prepping and working out with my trainer and becoming a better me.
Now, it's so funny. We were talking about it, Bill and I, my husband, we have always been so athletics and we work out fanatics. We actually are cyclists. So we compete, we did a lot of races and we've done it only until a year ago. And then a year ago, we came to like a major stop, obviously. And it's not an excuse just because of COVID. It's not as an excuse
Yeah.
not to be in the action zone. But we did. We kind of, kind of like that. And so I get a phone call from my daughter, Gabby, and my son, and they are killing us. Mom, Dad, you really have to start working out. You really have to eat better. I mean, this comes from our children, right? My son is a fitness trainer and my daughter is a mountain climber. So, man, did we get this? I mean, we got beaten up like you wouldn't believe. So just like you, we decided, let's recommit. We just got to recommit. It's just making a decision
Well,
of
it's funny though, with me working out more and doing my chiropractor though, me standing behind the chair, my body is not so sore like it used to be months
yeah,
ago. So I
yeah.
definitely will say being a stylist, our hands, our body go through so much.
Hmm.
And you never realize it until later on where everybody's like, oh, carpal tunnel. I'm like, I'm never going to get that. And I'm
Oh,
like, let me do my hand exercises every night now because I don't want that situation to happen. Yeah, exactly. This is me all the night. When I'm sitting in my bed trying to rub my dog, I'll do hand exercises and it's crazy.
yeah. So meal preparation. So it's great because I try to do that. I try to start doing meal preparation, and I always used to do it. But where I find, I've changed my, um, I pivoted my career. I was a hairstylist, a colorist, and a business owner for 20 years, and then I became. I built my coaching and training company, and we speak in conferences, and we go around the world, and now my husband and I, we travel around the country in our Airstream, and that's our business. And we do our show on the road and everything else. So we sit a lot. We sit a lot. And we're so busy that lunches goes away from us. So what we decided to do, Christopher, is to sign up for the meal plans that are coming to you.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh that.
So it's already prepared meals. They come to you, and they deliver, 4 meals or 6 meals, whatever you sign up, and it's organic. It's great stuff, and you can count the macros
Okay.
on it. So that's what we're doing, and so
I
we're gonna
love it.
first deliveries tomorrow.
Oh, see? That probably take the prepping and the cleaning so much easier.
Mhm. Do you like it?
That would change the thing. I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to try that.
I know. So you've been a stylist now for over what did you say? It's like something like 15 years, 17 years.
It's 16 years now.
Yeah.
Lord, that sounds so weird to say. 16 years doing hair. Lord, sitting here saying that number sounds so weird to say it. Yeah.
And but you have such an extent diversity of achievement, and I can't wait to dig into this whole repertoire. You've been in the Oscars, you've done some film festivals, you've done the Sundays. How do you get to be in all of this? And tell us what you did, because it's just amazing.
So I have done the Oscars. I've done Sundance Film Festival, things like that. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I'm with you.
okay. Um, and I started with a production company, and I was working on Ebert Presents, and I was doing the hair for that show, and it worked out that I met some producers, and they took me on a job to the
Okay.
Oscars, and I was very lucky. There's multiple stylists that work in our production company, and I will definitely say that personality pays off, and people do buy people because you want to surround yourself with people that you like. And I think one of the best things I heard from one of the production companies that I've worked with is that you've always just been yourself. You've never took failure as a bad thing, and that's why they took me on the event, because they knew that I could take criticism
Hmm.
really easily.
Hmm.
And as trust me, there's been days where I've left work crying, but I think for me, I've just always said it's not about what I always want to see, it's about what the person that's paying me wants to see also.
Hmm.
So I think that I hold that really high a high regard, because it's true. But me doing the Oscars and me doing film festivals was more of me being in the right time and right place, and me pushing myself to be open to take those chances. I
Okay.
think a lot of times we're always so afraid to do things or ask for things.
Hmm.
And one of the best things of the reasons why I love the company that I work with, Lanza, if you say, this is what I want, they will sit down with you and show you, like, okay, this is what you need to get to where you want to go.
Okay.
And that's how I've always been in my life. Um, so, like, when I wanted to do Sundance, the film festival, I heard they were all going, to be honest with you. And I was like, How can I go? Can I pay my way? Can I do something? Does anybody want their hair done for free? Which I know we don't always like to work for free. And it happened that the other stylist that they had coming wasn't able to make it, and I was next in line.
Got it.
I jumped and I got to stay at an amazing hotel, ran into some amazing people, and I've always literally just kept those people around me and the people that build me up to be around those situations.
Yeah.
The people that you're around are the people that you become.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. So is it because you say that it's how the people that likes you, and there's a certain personality that they're looking for to work with.
yeah.
So if you want to do it, if you want to get into that business, if you really want to do the things that intrigued you to do as a stylist, is it possible to add to to be a stylist behind a chair and have a career and travel and educate, but also work yourself to work in the film industry as well?
You know what? I will say when I worked production, I worked certain days to shoot the shows, and then I would come back. I would get up at 3 in the morning, be at set at 5:30, 6 a.m., and then I would work until 1 or 2. And I started talking to my clients and saying, I'm working this TV show. If I'm running late, I'll let you know. And my clients were so used to that, they were okay with it. Because in a way, they were like, that's so cool that my hairdresser does the morning show or does this. And, I think if you explain things to your clients, it makes it easier. So with that being said, yes, it's all possible. It's
Yeah,
just how you do it and how organized you are doing. And it's a lot of, I'm not going to lie to you and say it's not a lot of work. There are days that I literally wanted to just lay in my bed, but I knew that there was goals that I wanted. And I knew that I was not going to let anybody else take something from me that I wanted because I sat down and didn't take the chance.
got it. Got it. Okay. So it's basically being very organized and getting really organized, and know that you have certain days that you're going, or certain days that you work in a week and certain days that you travel. Can you pre-plan for all of that? Or no, you're like, hey, we have a job for you. You just gotta get on and
Luckily, my life is very scheduled. Like classes don't just pop up out of nowhere most of the time. Are there times where I have to do lives or social media things that pop up? Yeah, but luckily for that, I'm in my salon, so it makes it a lot easier because I'm in the atmosphere.
yeah,
But most of those jobs, there's times that you're going to have to turn down jobs, and there's certain times you're going to have to cancel clients. But depending on what you want, like me, I knew I didn't want to stay in the film world forever.
yeah,
I wanted to. My whole goal in life of being a hairdresser is I wanted to work in every niche I could. TV production, fashion shows, behind the chair, educate, because I wanted to say that I was well-rounded at the
got
end
it.
of the day.
Yeah,
So I know my story is not for everybody, and
yeah,
not everybody has the, you know, joy of getting up at 3 in the morning every day and doing those things. But I really wanted for myself to put in the effort to say, look, I've done this. What do I like the most? Then I
yeah.
can never say I didn't try or didn't do something.
So, looking at your past and all your niches and where you are right now today and what we're going through, right? This is
Yeah.
a tough time for us stylists. Tough time to reinvent. I think the biggest problems that we see right now is clients are not coming out,
Mhm.
right? They're not coming to work. So your production becomes from being, maybe 70-80% productive for your time. Now you're 25-40-50% productive. Do you find that it's the same story with you? And if not, what is it that we should do, or you can recommend all our stylists and salon owners to do to bring back people to make them feel comfortable? What do you think?
I will say, this it has been a crazy year, and I feel so bad for everybody that's lost something or you know if I could help everybody, I would in certain ways, and that this is like my little way of helping people. Don't give up. Don't settle. Go out and do more. So there was a time where I said there's always multiple ways that you need to make money and have income. If that's doing influencer work, if that's working with a brand. Um, my salon, I'm actually up 45% in my salon this year.
Wow.
And that was me being like, okay, I know I lost this client because they lost their job or they can't. Then I was like, okay, what's the best thing to do? Ask this client to send 5 of her friends in to get their hair done. There are certain people that financially could not afford me anymore. And I get that and I respect that. But for me, I was like, this is a time where I can look at this as a great thing. Let me get new people in my chair that I haven't been able to get in. I start, I'm luckily in a studio space where I have other people around me. Like I had people that didn't want to come back to work and I got their clients and, changed that around. And I walked around our mall that we're in and I
Yeah.
handed out my card and I said, if you're looking for a new stylist, I'll do this for the first time. And I didn't let anything
Get
scare me. I'm that person. I'm like, I'm going, as much as I might be fearful inside, I'm never going to show it to you. But I'm going to make it like, I have an assistant that I have to pay and I didn't want him to suffer. And I wanted to make sure, other people depend on me to be fighting for that success of what we need behind the chair. And I think that's what we have to as stylists do, figure out, if I sell more products, will I be able to make my rent?
mm,
I think that a lot of people that forget you are in a salon and that's a big money powerhouse. There's more than just sitting behind the chair and doing someone's hair. There's selling products to them. There's getting them involved with a blow dry service every week, There's, going to their house if you work for yourself. There's a lot of options that you can take to change things around. Like I've heard a lot of people say they went mobile and
mhm.
they got rid of their studio completely and they've gone mobile and they've made more income by doing that because people don't want to leave their houses and they're doing it in the garages.
Yeah.
But I don't settle. And I think that's the thing that, we have to understand these. There's always going to be something that throws something at you that tries to stop you. I don't let that happen.
So in order to, so what I hear is like, in order to more than survive, to thrive, you had to do things that you haven't done for a while. You had to get out of your comfort zone. Do the things that, when somebody has got such a brand reputation like you, who's very busy on a typical basis, like all of us, we all got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
We all had to reduce our production because we had to. But in order to thrive, you gotta get out of that comfort zone. You gotta get
Mm-hmm.
from behind it and become very creative.
Yeah, we're all going to do things behind the chair that we don't want to do. Like, I tell people I have clients that I do things on them that I don't like that I do on them, but I also know I have to survive behind this chair.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm here to make people happy. And that's the number one thing,
Yeah.
and that's what's going to sell. And personality is going to sell. If something that you have not been doing before, like if you lost clients because the way you talked or your consultation wasn't perfect, this is the time to take a class and, figure those things out. Like me, I went to an extension class the other day because I was like, I don't know how to do all extensions, but I'm going to learn how to do them all today. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to pay that money because I want to succeed in everything that comes my way. Because I had a lady that said, Chris, do you do these types? And I was like, I don't, but I do these. And she was like, no, I really like these types. And I was like, I got you. But then I said, okay. As soon as she left, I was on my phone like this. Where can I take this class for this? And I was like, because if she does it, that means she probably has 6 other friends that do it.
Yes.
And that's the way I look at everything.
And not for anything. You're curious to make a decision for yourself. When do you use this? For what type of hair? For what type of texture? It's been having diversity, as we talked before, is not a bad thing.
No.
Knowing a lot of stuff and then become a doctor and authority of making the right decision, what to use on what, is what makes you well-rounded.
Yeah.
kind of like what you said. So I love that you actually picked up the phone and you looked for the class, and it just reminds me. Here's what it reminds me. Remember the movie The Matrix with Neil?
Oh yes, I love the Matrix. Yes.
How in the beginning Morpheus tells him, I'm going to download something in your brain and you're going to learn how to do
Oh
all.
yeah.
And then he goes like, I don't know if I want to know all this stuff. Do I really want to know all this stuff? Do I really want to have my open mind about all of it? And then he lays down, downloads, he master it in like, what is it, like an hour? And then he looks at Morpheus and he goes, give me more, give
I
me
know.
more.
And he's like, I know kung fu or something like that.
I know kung
And
fu.
I mean, if life was only that simple, I'd be programming and every night.
Me too. Me too. I think I always tell my clients, and I always tell my students, I tell them, I am the best student you can ever have. I don't know if I'm the best teacher, but I'm the best student. And I
Well,
much prefer being a good student. So
well,
uh,
you have that correct. That's for sure. And we all. It's funny that you said we all have our sayings of things. I always tell myself there's nobody that can write my story better than me,
yeah,
ever. And I stick by that, and I tell people that all the time. No, you want somebody else to write your book? Is it going to be written the way you want it? No, write it your damn self.
write it yourself.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about, you decided that you really want to find your niche and dig into that even more so. And so you decided that your niche is going to be specializing in textured hair. What does that mean?
Um, this year alone, with everything that we've had going on, it wasn't exactly just being a stylist anymore. I wanted to be not saying that just me being. I wanted to help people be diverse in general. There's a lot of stylists that don't know how to do every hair type that sits in their chair, and I pride myself on knowing how to do every hair type that sits in my chair because I think that's what a stylist should do. I think again, going out of your comfort zone is always a hard thing. I get it, but the times where you're losing money, if you got another client that didn't have a hair type that you know how to work with, it's time to learn it.
Mm,
And I pride myself on doing diversity and keeping a diverse salon because I want everyone to know they're welcome. It's
yeah,
not about what my skin color is and what I know. And if I don't know something, I'm going to learn it. I'm going to try to be the best at it.
yeah, yeah. So what you mean by that is that if you don't know how to work with an ethnic hair, learn how to do it. If you
Exactly.
don't know how to work with a Jewish fro,
I
learn how to do it.
can't wait to play with that Jewish fro one day. I'm going to.
I want to. I would fly all the way to Chicago to get a whole new do.
No, I need you to drive your Airstream up all the way here.
I am coming. I'm coming. Mariah is already waiting for me, and I
Oh,
am coming. I need like a crushing red with
yeah.
I don't know.
I want like different tones of red with like a little blonde coppery tip. Oh, I'm just getting this vision in my head now. Can you be here by tomorrow?
I might have to fly over.
Let's do it.
I'll be there, Bill. I promise. So yeah, I'll do anything for just coloring my hair. It's like one time when I was 13 14 years old, I came to my mom and I had pink and blues and red and all of that, and I knock on the door so I could get back home, and I thought my mom is going to look at me and she said, will tell me, what did you do to your hair? But you know what, she looks at me and she says, oh, that looks amazing. And I'm like, really? She goes, yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, my mom not so much. My mom was like, "Do you really have to dye your hair blonde?" I don't like it, and I was like, "Thanks, mom."
Well, it's like what gets you going, whatever rocks your boat. So,
Exactly.
all right. So you decided that you're really want to contribute on teaching and educating anybody that needs to learn how to work with textured hair.
Textured hair, even people that don't know how to work with fine hair, things like that, every texture. Um, and not because I think I'm the all be all of every texture that sits in my chair, but one thing I can produce is at least ways to start you off to get you there better.
Mhm.
I, I remember when I still have sat down in chairs and people were like, I don't know what to do with your hair, Chris. And I'm like, well, just cut it. Like, when you work with curly hair, they're like, well, do we do it wet? Do we do it dry? And I want people to feel comfortable with that. I don't want people to be scared because I automatically feel a lot of times as hairdressers, we get stuck in our ruts. And
Mm.
it's so sad to see because you could be making double the amount of money
Mhm.
taking every single person that walks in your chair, except you want to stick yourself in one box.
Mhm.
And I want that to be, if there's anything I can give back, it'll be that.
So, but when you say, it's almost like, okay, so the big marketers and of the world, or the big branding agencies, always say, dial into your niche, dial into your niche, really work, go narrow, go narrow, go narrow. And when you go narrow, everybody comes to you.
Yeah.
That's the narrower you go, the more it goes. So one of really, if and this is like something that we can offer all our audience right now who's listening, if you really want to go from 50% productivity to 70% productivity and to 80% productivity, right, which basically means selling all the hours that you want to sell,
Mm-hmm.
then you really have to dial onto your niche. Pick up something that you feel most passionate about
Yep.
and really study it and really become very like an expert for that. And once you do that, and then you can maybe diverse and have other sides of learning, so you can apply what you learn for anybody that has different type of hair textures.
Yeah.
So would you say that, I would think that's an opportunity for everybody right now to become specialists in something specific?
I think it's an opportunity. I will say I'm just selfish and I just wanted to learn everything. So me, I'm just that person. I will say people know me as I specialize in color more than anything. Like that's what teach. That's what I do. But even being a colorist, I don't think I can say I'm a colorist if I don't know how to do everything that sits in my chair of a texture of color. Because as someone that has curly hair, curly hair colors better. I mean, not better, but differently than straight hair does.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's an importance. A niche is something that's very important to have, but if you don't expand on that niche and know every single way that niche can move, then you're just a niche, kind of in a way.
So in your class, because you have the famous class about learning how to color texture, any kind of texture hair,
Hmm.
is that a class that obviously offered on Zoom right now, because you cannot really travel? Is that, is can we learn everything we can possibly learn and something without feeling it?
I feel like if you wanted to take if you took a class with me, what you would learn is how I colored every texture of hair or what I would use and decolorize things like that. But I mean, American Beauty Show, we're going to be working on classes with them soon.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do
It's
have
coming
one.
up.
I didn't say it. I just kind of said it.
It's here.
It's there. I do have Lonza classes right now. Personally, my personal classes are not happening right now just because I'm so busy. But I think it's a really big importance. Or I have people that contact me on Instagram. I feel like that's fair enough. Where I can give one-on-ones with people, and I tell people that's all I can do to do is help. And time is not always just about a class. If you just have a question, just ask me.
Okay. So it would be nice to have a Q&A with Christopher Aaron about what bleach should we use, and
Hmm.
how much can we push a certain hair, and before we barbecue in that hair, and that's what you're actually going over, is how to create different textures, different colors
Hmm.
on without barbecuing it.
Damaging. Because healthy hair is important too. Like how can we get through every step that we need to without damaging the hair?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel. I mean, I've done a lot. I'm not doing a lot of in salon classes right now, but I definitely feel that this is the time to learn classes. Even if it's not for me, I feel like this is the time where there's so many classes online that you can take to better yourself right now. You don't have to leave your house.
Absolutely. I agree, totally agree. And I think that's a great opportunity for many salon owners to incorporate education right now, almost every week with a different educator. It's just so versatile right now, and why not taking advantage of it? So I think that's amazing. Um, Chris, what do you think about pricing and value?
So funny. We just talked about this on another show for American Beauty Show. Um, I think pricing is very important. Now, I know pricing goes depending on what area you are in and what you can charge, but I'm all about value, and I charge my worth. If someone sits with me for 6 hours, they're going to get a 6 hour charge. Um, I think you need to think about what education you have and where you've been and what you're doing to every time I take a class, I feel like you need to raise your price a little bit, or if you're adding a new service on, like if you just first learn how to do balayage, start here and then work your way up. Every time a year that you keep going. Me personally, I raise my prices every $10 a year on each item
Every when?
every year.
Every year. Yes, of
Yep.
course. So now, and you add $10 to each of your services, or you value yourself in a different way?
So I'll add every price. Will add another $10. And
Okay,
then, like, let's say I'm doing a balayage. All my balayages start off at 250 for a full head, and then they go up.
got it.
That does not include the glazing, the customizing, the everything. If I have to use more than one bowl of decolorizer, I'm going to charge you for it.
Yeah,
If you take longer to process, it's more time you're in my chair. So I feel like you should be charged for it because
yeah,
it's money that I'm losing.
yeah. And then do you pre-plan that in advance so you have enough time to do it? Do you charge for your consultations?
So that was a big conversation me and my assistant just had the other day. That's so funny that you asked that. I don't charge for my consultations. I really feel like, for me, I'm not saying this is not for everybody. I get it. If I want to have someone come in my chair and sit down, me charging them for a consultation might push them away sometimes. But at the same point, you can take that money towards your consultation that a lot of people do, which I love this idea, and put it towards their appointment. Me personally, I don't charge for them.
Yeah, yeah. But you believe in charging for your time, and
Yep.
that's really important. Everybody wants to know always is, how do you actually announce price increase? What do you do? Do you believe in giving them enough time in advance, or on January 1st, boom, every year prices are going up?
Um, I slowly start telling my clients. I do every client. Okay, I know this sounds weird. Every client I tell in a different way, which I know is crazy. Some clients I send an email and text to because that's what's better for them, and they are okay with that. And then some I have to tell in person.
Got it. And is it, what do you think will be the most efficient way for somebody who doesn't have um doesn't have the experience that you have, or the diversity that you have, to start, as far as not to be afraid of raising your prices?
I think the best way you can say it to your clients is, hold on one sec. The best way you can say it to your clients is, this year I've done a lot of benefiting to myself behind the chair to be better for you. Um, Prices have increased on services for things for us to do for you. This year I am going to be raising my prices for these things. And thank you for, it's so funny. I change it around for every single client. So it's funny if you actually stood behind me in a chair. Some clients I'll be like, hey, Maureen, I'm going to be raising my prices this year. This is what it is. And some people are like, okay, cool. And then there's some people I have to sit and be like, this is what your total will be starting next month.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think you have to customize it for every single person. You have to fill them out. There's not one way I probably could say that I say it to anybody. So as a new stylist, maybe the best way for you to do it is to send an email out or send a text and send a lovely note with it, if you're afraid to say it. Because I know there are stylists that are afraid to tell their clients they're raising their prices, especially coming back from being quarantined and COVID and everything like that. A lot of stylists were like, this is the worst time to raise your prices. And I was like, this is actually the best time to raise your prices because you have so much more that you're carrying onto yourself in your salon when you come back.
Mm.
Mask, cleaning supplies, and just tell them that for us to stay in business, this is what we have to do.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
for sure.
I think honesty is just better. I think if you're just straight up and forward with them and don't lie, there was a time where I raised my prices twice in 1 year because product costs went up so much.
Yeah.
I was honest with my clients. I said,
Yeah.
look, for me to give you the benefits that you have every day here, and for me to successfully stand behind the chair, I need to raise my prices.
Absolutely, absolutely. You have to, it's not such a bad thing to plan it in advance,
Mhm.
and say in February 1st or March 1st, we're going to raise our prices every year. Put
Yeah.
a little note maybe on your station and saying, as I grow, and so this my prices are being raised by 10%, by 20%.
Mhm.
I appreciate you, and that's it. And if somebody complains about it or they didn't know anything about the price raise, you just tell them it's okay. This time I'll honor the old prices, but next time it's the new prices. And that's a good way to kind of transition if
Yeah.
somebody's upset. But seriously, 90% of the people, or maybe even 98% of the people, that's not a problem. So it's always the only 2%, and people are always worried about the 2%.
I had a client that did after I raised my prices after coming back from COVID, she sent me a text and she said, "Look, I'm retired. I can't afford those things to prices to go up." And I said, "You know what? I get you." And then you know what I said? Let me recommend some other hairdressers to you that I think that will work well with you. And I think one, she was shocked that I would say that. Because that goes back to not being scared. You're going to lose people sometimes, and that's okay, but they're not meant for that part of your life at that moment.
Mhm. Yeah.
Sometimes when you grow,
Mhm.
people are not always in that, the same niche that you were in here. You're not going to have that same group of people there. Like,
Right.
I'm lucky to say I've had some clients since I was in beauty school that are still with me.
Wow. Wow,
Like,
that's amazing.
there's 3 of them, and I love them to death. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like they're my family of clients, but you can't take things so serious sometimes. You just have to be.
Yeah.
And I feel like the more you get comfortable with you, the more you'll be comfortable with
Yeah.
telling people things.
Yeah. And it's okay, even if you're not comfortable, like you said, don't take yourself so seriously. Just go for it. What's the
Yeah.
worst that can happen? I've heard so many authors and a book author that says they have been rejected 160 times by publishers,
Mhm.
but yet they're still coming and they get their book out. So why not just put yourself out there? The more
Yeah.
you value yourself, the more you practice, you'll get more confidence on asking or saying things that you're comfortable. Now, Chris, how did you start being a brand educator?
Okay, so I used to say the first time I went to American Beauty Show, it was so funny. I remember walking in and I was with 2 of my friends from beauty school, and I was like, I literally looked up, the people, shiny people on the stage, and I was like, oh my God, I love them. And I was like, I want to do whatever they're doing. Didn't know what the hell they did because I was like, all I saw was them up on stage, and I was like, and it's funny because people are like, you just want to be the Beyonce of the group or the Janet of the group. And I'm like, and I used to be like, yeah, that looks so shiny and glittery over there. It looks pretty. And I decided I want to later down the road that I wanted to help people more than I wanted to just be the shiny figure.
Mhm.
I realized being an educator is more than just being a part of a company. Is really benefiting people and strengthening people more than ever. And that's what I love about being an educator. So the steps I took to get there is contacting the brands that I did like and who I worked with and thought about, what was going to be my other family, more than just my salon family. What was going to be my other family?
Yeah, yeah. And Lanza is such a great company to work with.
I I love them. I literally David Berglass has created a amazing company as an owner. I mean, literally, I can tell you that if anything more this year with being a part of them, he's made me push myself even in my own business right now to be better. And I know a lot of companies have a lot of educators, but I can definitely say I have so much respect for someone that loves his people so much,
Yeah,
and our three people like Leah Friedman, Matt Sweeney, Ammon Carver make you want to be better people and make you want to believe in everything, you know. And I think that's an important thing. You have to love where you are.
yeah. Well, for sure, everybody loves Christopher Aaron. And if we wanted to get in touch with you and maybe have a texture class with you, what would be the best way to do it?
You can either contact Lanza or you can contact me on my Instagram, which is Christopher Aaron Studio. And those are probably the best two contacts to get a hold of me.
And not to mention, America's Beauty Show is going to have you be part of them of their classes repertoire, and yeah, and you can get the memberships if you subscribe to the memberships. You guys, you can have Christopher Aaron part of it. So I
Yeah,
think
hopefully we'll be doing some Zoom classes too.
yeah, yeah, and I think it's a great way. I think there's nothing more important than to be diverse, like you said.
Yeah,
And you are, if you can learn how to work. I've always wanted to learn how to do up hair, right?
yeah,
How to style hair. I was always so afraid of that. I tried, I failed, I tried, I failed. But all it takes is just time, to allocate time to actually learn something. And once you do, it's time to practice it. And once you do, then you own the education and you feel just like Neil in the Matrix. You
yeah,
want more. You want more.
yeah.
So yeah. Okay, Chris. So last questions is if you can recommend any one of our people about, what would you say to them to be successful, to live the life that they want, not to always work, 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 but actually to have work for them. What do you recommend?
Be comfortable with being you. I feel like that's the best thing I can probably say. I will say that I went through down times in my business where things were tough, and it was the times where I was trying to be somebody else that I was not. So if there's anything that's going to make you succeed, it's being you.
So you guys heard the man, Christopher Aaron, and he is living his truth. He really does. So anybody who needs to learn anything about textured hair, highlighted hair, or anything about creating a very successful career, you know where to reach Christopher. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, love. I can't wait to see you.
You're such a pleasure. I need a whole new do. I need a texture
Are
cut.
we gonna do a Facebook Live of us giving you a hair makeover?
Ooh, wouldn't that be fun?
I know. And then we'll have Mariah style your hair up. I can see this. I can see
I
this.
want to know. I want to know that comb that you and Mariah always use.
The Never Let Go comb.
What is it? Before
Oh my God.
everybody go, tell me about it. I'm always so curious about that comb.
If anything, that literally there's a few things in life that I love behind the chair. Hold on. I'm going to grab that comb so you guys can see.
Oh, please, because why? What's so magical about that comb?
So the best thing, see, Mariah, I'm talking about you. This is Mariah's pink pewter comb. You guys, literally, this is the best thing for me behind the chair. Not only is it great for styling, but you can take it detail, tease with it, foliage with it, balayage with it, and you can actually use it to secure hair by twisting it and locking it in, and then have another comb that goes back and foils. So it works so, like, literally, I never let this thing, as the name says, I never let go comb. But I literally have 4 of these, and I get mad when I don't see them all because
I know what that feels.
you know when you have a comb or brush
Yeah,
you love.
yeah, yeah. Forever,
Yeah,
forever.
I mean, my friend created an amazing comb. And I thank her because sometimes I get tired of combs breaking all the time. But if you guys look back at a video that we did on Instagram, this comb is life saving. I'm surprised you don't have one. You need to
Well,
get one.
I haven't done hair for, I would say, a year and a little bit, so but I need
Well,
to get myself some combs like that, okay?
yeah. Here, let me put this. Where's the best way? There, right there, so you can
It's
see.
perfect. Let me have that. Here.
I know. Let me just pass this on to you right
Thank
there.
you. Thank you.
Only if I was capable.
No, that's so much fun. I make sure that I get one of those combs for
Yeah,
sure.
I
Well,
will
listen,
make
I'm
sure.
going to have you back on the show and we're going to talk about the next level within next few months, how to prepare for the next 12 months. I'd love to have you back. So
I will definitely come back anytime.
thank you, Christopher. This has been such a phenomenal night. Thank
You
you.
know, I have to tell you, thank you for doing this because I think you don't realize how many people you actually do help. So it's more than just me like being here that I'm thankful for. It's you being and helping so many people. So that's a really important thing. So
Thank
let's
you.
give you a round of
Thank
applause
you. Thank
for
you.
that.
It's really nice. It's good to hear.
Yeah.
And yes, we've been airing this show live religiously every Monday since we started since COVID happened, right from the beginning. I think I would say we are the only show that has been consistent nonstop on the same day all the time since COVID. So it's been a great learning. Like I said, I'm a student, so I'm happy that
Yeah.
everybody gets a really good benefit. So thank you, Christopher. That was
Thank
really
you,
nice.
love, for having me.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
guys.
Everybody, good night. Hold
Bye,
on.
guys.
Don't
Mwah.
go. Don't go. I'm just going to end the broadcast.
Okay.